What's up, guys? Welcome to Not Your Average Student. I'm Not Your Average Student host Rebecca, here to discuss the 7 articles of the Constitution along with the 7 amendments in a not so boring way. Sorry, no skits for this one, just energetic explanations. So let's quit lagging around and get started, shall we? Okay, well, first of all, uh-oh. So the first and foremost, let's start by breaking down each of the articles of the Constitution, alright? So Article 1, Section 1, the legislative branch. Alright, so the first article is divided up into about 10 sections, which can be a lot. Unless you're someone who likes to make things easier, yet still accurate for people to understand. Okay, Section 1, pretty short and sweet. Basically says that all the granted legislative powers will be vested or settled into Congress of the U.S. within a Senate and a House of Representatives. Now, I'm no scholar in these areas, so don't go throwing shade on me if your best friend gets what I'm saying and you don't, alright? Why? Because it's okay. Not everyone is going to understand it right away. Believe me, if you're reading these by yourself, you'd be struggling right now. Seriously, though. Anywho, back to what we were doing. So, here we go, Section 2. Really what Section 2 talks about is how there's going to be a House of Representatives, but there's going to be several members distributed. And any and all members that join must comply to the following requirements. You must, 1, be at least 25 or older, and 2, you must be a citizen of the United States for at least 7 years. For time's sake, we won't go over the other requirements, as there's quite a few. Section 3, I quote, "The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote." So basically, regardless of each state's individual population, a senator gets a 6-year term. Then every 2 years, the Senate seats are up for election. This makes the Senate a continuing body. So here are the basic job requirements for the Senate. So, number 1, you must at least be 30 years old. And 2, you have to be a citizen for at least 9 years. And 3, you have to be a resident of the state you want to represent. Now, moving on to the Vice President. His role may sound super busy, but in reality, it isn't as busy as we tend to think. The role itself is almost useless unless the President were to die, of course. Or, well, resign in so terms. Next, a senior member of the Senate is able to run the show, so to say, when the Vice President isn't in the House, which can be quite often. The Senate also has the power to decide to choose its other officers. Next, if the House of Representatives were to decide to impeach any civil officer, excuse me, they need to have the Senate serve as both a judge and jury. If at least 2/3 of a vote to convict, the impeached individual is then removed from office. However, any judgments in the term of impeachment can't go any further than removal of position of office and banishment from future government service. So, however, some courts might go further into cases of wrongdoing to seek out and to lay out more penalties. Now, finally, Section 4. The Constitution pretty much leaves it up to the states to organize their congressional elections. However, it gives Congress the power to set new rules for federal elections as it sees fit. In 1842, Congress passed an important law requiring a single-member district elections in every state. This standardized the congressional election practices throughout the nation. The same law set for one standard election day, the Tuesday after the first Monday in November, throughout the entire United States. We actually still stick to the same election day in 2018. Lastly, in Section 4, it explains that the Congress has to meet at least once a year, typically either the first Monday in December or the 3rd of January. Well, as you can see, going through each section is going a bit too long, and is boring some to the point where they're falling asleep. Hey you, yeah, you. I see you. Yeah, I see you sleeping in class. So what we're going to do now, since we've pretty much summed up the rest of Article 1, we're going to go by each article instead of section by section from this point on. So, now, let's see. Moving on. Article number 2. So, Article number 2 discusses the executive branch. This government branch manages the daily kind of things of the government through several different government departments or agencies, like the Department of Treasury. The head of this particular branch is the President of the United States himself. The President swears the oath to faithfully execute the responsibilities to preserve, protect, and defend our Constitution as the President of the United States. This power also includes being able to make treaties with other countries, nations, etc. You know, the list goes on. So, Article 3. Article 3 is all about the judicial branch. So, basically, Article number 3 gives a basic outline to the powers of the federal court system. It also determines that the Supreme Court is a court of last resort, so to say, quote, quote, and that the power of Congress can determine the size and scope of the courts below it. Each and every judge that is appointed for life unless they have to resign due to bad behavior or if their health issues that prevent them from continuing their position. If they are faced with charges, they are to be tried and judged by their peers who would serve as a jury. Alright, now, time for Article number 4. We just got a few more articles to go after this one. In this article, it kind of talks about the states and like how the relationship between the states and federal government is defined. The federal government can guarantee Republican government in each state, protect the nation and its people from any form of foreign or domestic violence, and it determines how and what new states can join the Union. All the states are equal to each other and should probably respect one another's different laws and state court systems, judicial decisions, and, well, it's something suggested for sure in this article. Let's keep it moving with Article number 5. This article tells us about the whole factor of an amendment. So, if the society requires it so much, then generations of the future can amend the Constitution. Congress and states are the ones that have the power to start the amendment process. Article number 6, guys, we are so close to being done. So, well, with at least the Articles of the Constitution. Then we got all 27 amendments we still gotta go over. Anyways, Article number 6 kind of covers the topics of debt, supremacy, and oaths. This article determines that the Constitution and any and all of the laws are the Supreme law of the land, forgive me. Now, the officials, whether part of Congress, the judicial branch, state legislature members, or the executive branch, they must swear an oath to the Constitution. So, excuse me for a minute. Alright, so Article 7, guys, yay! This one's really simple, short, and sweet. So basically, this article represents the people who were the signers of the Constitution, who represented the original 13 states. There we go. That covers the 7 articles of the Constitution. We did it! Woohoo! Now, next we go into the 27 amendments, but that'll have to wait. And I don't know about you, but I'll definitely love learning about this stuff later on in life more than I do now. Anyways, I'm Rebecca, not your average student, saying goodbye, and thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.